The scariest moment in life is not when everything falls apart. It's when nothing happens. No messages, no opportunities, no progress, just silence. And after enough silence, your mind starts whispering something dangerous. Maybe I'm being left behind. That thought has destroyed more people than failure ever did. Because humans can survive pain. What destroys us is believing the pain means nothing. But what if that silence is not empty? What if your life is growing in places you cannot see yet?
There's an old story about a farmer who planted bamboo, but he did not plant it casually. He planted it with ambition. He believed that within a year, his field would transform. He imagined tall green stalks swaying in the wind. He imagined success, respect, relief, maybe even a new life. So every morning, before the sun touched the horizon, he walked to the same patch of earth with water in his hands and hope inside his chest. And every day, he searched for evidence, a crack in the soil, a tiny green shoot, anything, any sign that his effort was becoming something real. But the earth answered him with silence. And silence, at first, was easy to tolerate because at the beginning of every dream, hope is loud.
Weeks passed, nothing. Then months, still nothing. But when the first new year arrived, the farmer told himself, this will be the year. So he returned to the field. With renewed energy, he watered more carefully, worked more faithfully, waited more patiently. Every morning, he searched the soil for even the smallest sign, a crack, a stem, anything. But the seasons passed again, and the earth remained silent. Now the disappointment felt heavier, because hope, after enough waiting, becomes exhausting. Still, he chose to continue. Then came year 2. Again, a new year arrived. Again, he convinced himself things would change. Maybe now, maybe this time. But once again, nothing appeared. And slowly, the silence around him began turning into noise. Neighbors whispered when he walked by. Some laughed openly. Others pitied him. Even his family stopped asking about the bamboo. And somewhere inside him, a dangerous battle began. Self-doubt. Some mornings, he stood over the empty field, feeling embarrassed for still believing. Yet the next morning, he returned again. Then came year 3, and this time, the pain changed. This was no longer simple disappointment. It became emotional exhaustion, because there is a unique kind of suffering in dedicating your life to something that gives no visible return, no evidence, no reassurance, no reward, just silence. And silence, if endured long enough, can make even strong people question their worth.
By year 4, the farmer no longer watered the soil with excitement. He watered it out of discipline, out of stubborn faith, out of a quiet refusal to quit. And maybe you understand that feeling, continuing even after motivation disappears, trying while everyone else seems to move ahead, pretending to be okay publicly, while privately wondering whether your efforts mean anything at all. But beneath the surface, where no human eyes could see, something was happening. Then, one morning, during the 5th year, something felt different. Not dramatic, not extraordinary, just different. The farmer walked slowly toward the field, expecting another silent day, another disappointment, another reminder that nothing had changed. But then, he stopped. For a moment, he simply stared, unsure if what he was seeing was real, because after years of silence, the earth had finally answered him. A small green shoot had broken through the soil, tiny, fragile, easy for the world to ignore. But to the farmer, it was proof. Proof that the years were not wasted. Proof that the waiting meant something. Proof that growth had been happening all along. And then, within 6 weeks, the bamboo rose nearly 90 feet into the sky. The same people who mocked him stood in disbelief. They called it sudden success.
But the farmer knew the truth. The bamboo did not grow in 6 weeks. It grew for 5 years. For 5 invisible years, roots had spread deep underground, building strength strong enough to carry extraordinary height. Because if the bamboo had risen too early, without deep foundations, it would have collapsed under its own weight. And maybe life works that way with us too. Maybe the seasons that feel empty are the seasons that are building us the deepest. But hidden growth, does not feel inspiring while you are living through it, because roots grow in darkness, and darkness has a way of making people question everything. There were nights the farmer stared at the ceiling, wondering whether he had wasted years of his life, moments when he avoided conversations because he was tired of explaining why nothing had happened yet. Sometimes he envied people whose success arrived quickly, people who never seemed to struggle this long, never seemed to doubt this deeply. But what the farmer could not see was that the silence was changing him too. Every difficult season was forcing his roots deeper. Every disappointment, every lonely morning, every moment he wanted to quit but chose to continue anyway was building strength, because shallow roots search for comfort. Deep roots are created by resistance. That is why some people rise quickly but collapse the moment pressure arrives, while others, after years underground, become almost impossible to break. The farmer believed he was waiting for the bamboo to grow, but that was never the whole story. The waiting was growing him too. The silence taught him endurance. The uncertainty taught him discipline. The years without recognition taught him how to continue without applause. And by the time the bamboo finally rose, the farmer was no longer the same man who planted the seed. He had roots now too, invisible ones, built quietly, built painfully, built through years of continuing without evidence. And maybe that is the real reason some seasons last so long, because life is not only preparing what is coming next, it is preparing you for it. So if your life feels still right now, that does not mean nothing is happening. Some of the most important construction happens underground. Patience is not passive waiting. Patience is invisible work. Every difficult season is teaching your mind something: how to endure uncertainty, how to remain steady, how to keep moving without immediate rewards. Roots are forming, and roots are strange things. Nobody applauds them, nobody sees them, yet everything strong depends on them. People admire the height of the bamboo while completely ignoring the years spent underground. So if you feel behind right now, forgotten, uncertain, invisible, do not confuse stillness with failure. Some seasons are not meant for showing. They are meant for strengthening. Right now, you may be developing roots deep enough to carry a future far larger than you can currently imagine. And one day, people may only notice how high you rise. They will not see the lonely mornings, the silent years, the private battles, the seasons underground that made everything possible. But you will. And that is why this season matters. Because your life is not paused. It is preparing. Everything changes, but the deepest roots can survive even the longest winters. Thank you for being here. We are learning together.